My name is Robert Cheeke. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I'm a vegan bodybuilder. I've been doing that for 15 years as a vegan and bodybuilding about 8 years. And it's been a great lifestyle for me, and that's what I do. Skinny kid. I was skinny, I was scrawny, and determined to get bigger and stronger. I was 120 pounds when I became vegan, and I asked this question, well, can I get bigger and stronger on a plant-based diet? Shouldn't I just keep eating meat, and even though I care about animals, eat meat and just get bigger and stronger, and then become vegan for animal rights or ethical reasons or moral reasons later on? And it was actually my older sister, Tanya, who said, you know what, you don't need to. You don't need to compromise one to get the other. You can still get protein, vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, glucose, minerals, all these things essential for life in plant-based whole foods. And in fact, that's where they're found in abundance in their original form. I mean, you talk about, you don't go to steak to get vitamin C. I mean, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, etc. come from fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, seeds. So that's where nutrition comes from. People ask me, where do I get my protein? Well, I don't have like one source. I mean, it's not like I just eat one food for protein. I mean, to me, I understand the question, but it's also sometimes a silly question because protein is found in almost every food, or pretty much every food, in small amounts or larger amounts. And so I think the question is, which foods have more protein, or which foods have some of the best sources of protein? And from there, we can talk about hemp protein and pea protein and rice protein and nuts and grains like quinoa and seeds. And we can talk about green foods like kale and spinach and broccoli. And we can talk about tofu and tempeh. We can talk about almonds and walnuts, and all these things. And there's too many foods to name. So, absolutely. I started veganbodybuilding.com back in 2002. I created a business, vegan bodybuilding and fitness, but it wasn't really a business. I mean, it's not like we've made profit, but I did make it an official business. So then I could make things like clothing, and I could have things that I could send to people, and eventually filmed a movie, Vegan Fitness Built Naturally, documentary that we could have as a resource. But really, vegan bodybuilding and fitness is about building community and about showing different sides of veganism and showing the athletic side of veganism, showing that, yeah, not only can you be an athlete on a plant-based diet, on a pure vegan plant-based diet, but you can excel and you can do really, really well. And so it came about from me being a skinny little kid to a long-distance runner. I ran NCAA collegiate cross-country distance running, and then I totally transitioned into bodybuilding, which is almost unheard of. You don't go from distance running to bodybuilding, especially as a vegan. It just wasn't, nobody was doing that. And so I created a website because back in the early days, the late 90s, I was the only one that I knew of who was lifting weights and being vegan. Clearly I wasn't the only one, and I found that out later, and that's the wonderful power of the internet. When I created a website, sure enough, thousands of vegan athletes came out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, so I'm not alone. And not only am I not alone, there's guys twice my size. And that's motivating and encouraging and inspiring, and it still motivates me now, saying, wow, there's some really big guys out there, and strong women and great athletes. And a couple of years ago, a showing in Portland, there were about 300 people, so a great turnout, and it was a powerful video, a powerful documentary that I think, if you watch it, you understand so many more aspects to why you should be compassionate as a person. Not just compassionate towards animals, but compassionate towards people, compassionate towards the environment, and compassionate towards the people in your life. And I think I really think it makes for a more well-rounded person. I think watching Earthlings is something that can change your life. I think it can change the lives of those we care about too. Because how many people do we know in our lives who are on the verge of major catastrophe because of their diet, or because of their lifestyle, because of things they don't know? Earthlings is something that can teach you something you don't know. Earthlings is a tool that can show you what really goes on in the world, that images of things we don't really see, that we don't want to see, or that we hide from ourselves or from our family or from our kids. And really, I think the most important concept for anybody to understand is intellectual honesty. And the fact is, Earthlings promotes honesty. It says this is what really happens. You decide. You decide what you want to do. This is the truth. this is what goes on, this is how people feel, and this is how animals feel as a result. What are you going to do? And from what I understand, I think, and it's probably almost fact, that I think Earthlings is the most popular vegan documentary in history as far as most viewed. I think it's had over 1 million downloads. I think Earthlings has been the farthest reaching. I look on the internet and see groups on Facebook and other with thousands of members for Earthlings, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason why my roommate for her birthday wanted a signed copy of Earthlings, and guess what? She got it. She got it the day before her birthday from the producer. You don't get that from a lot of producers. You don't get that from people who are disconnected from their audience. But to see somebody who cares enough to have the patience to produce this thing for over half a decade before it comes out. If I understand, it started in the late 90s and came out in maybe '05. I mean, it took, I think, 6 years. The patience, the dedication, the desire to do it right, and what's the result? Over 1 million people have watched it in a short amount of time. And it's one of those things that once you watch it, you do change your life in some way. And you show it to somebody else. So if 1 million people were driven to watch that, which made it one of the top 50 Google downloads, I believe, imagine how many people were impacted. Those 1 million people told another 1 million, who then maybe watched it on the internet, they went out and got a copy. They went to the website, they read about it. They decided not to read about it. They decided not to watch it, but read about it. As far-reaching implications, and I'm glad Earthlings is there, and I look forward to Unity. And I think it's going to be a great series all the way along.
Cool. Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.